everyone, welcome to today's AMA session with Onboarding Work Group and Education Guild. And our guest today is the CEO of Rejuve AI, or should I just say Rejuve, Jasmine Smith. Thank you so much for being here, Jasmine. We really appreciate. Do you want to say hi to everyone, Jasmine?
Yeah, hello. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, great to be here and catch up with everyone and catch everyone up on what's all been happening since there's a lot indeed going on.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen so you could see what the community would like to know about Rejuve. Just give me a second. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this is going to kick off, guys. Just in case you wanted to ask question in person to Jasmine, hold on, your turn will get there very soon. Um, so this is the first question, and I'll be taking this. I think this person is an anonymized person. So the question is, what is the ethical framework guiding Rejuve AI?
Oh, nice one. So actually, we had our protocol, which is called the International Longevity Research Database, or otherwise known as the IRLDB, the in real life database. I kind of flipped the two letters to make that acronym. And this protocol is an observational and longitudinal study that has been approved by Brainy IRB, so it's a university in New York. And an IRB is Independent Ethics Review Board. And it's pretty much something that you do in order to do any human research related, human subject research. And our protocol was pretty much ruled exempt, meaning that everything that we're planning to do doesn't constitute as something that's going beyond just signing a consent form. And they've also approved the language for the consent form as well to actually participate in this study. So yeah, that's where we're starting. And then as far as in the broader context, I guess that's where the kind of governance piece comes into play. Part of our ethical principles, of course, is having a global decentralized community contributing to the platform. So, not just making it only focused on, people that have lots of money to spend upfront on these tests, but also, the wider population who just wants to live a longer and healthier life, based on the data that they are able to collect with their smartphone.
Wow, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Does anybody want to ask a follow-up question, or can I just keep right over it? Because I got that and I like what Rejuve is doing. Okay, I don't see a hand up. All right, great. We have that covered then. Vani?
Yeah, if you can go on to the next slide for us. Our next question is from Andrew Ben, who was in the room, but I think he's up for it being read out for him. So kind of on the research tip that we've started discussing, Jasmine, he says, how close are you to having a validated, peer-reviewed causal longevity model built from the network's contributed multi-omics and lifestyle data that can give users personalised, actionable interventions with statistically significant predicted life extension or health span improvements? And when do you expect the first publication or public demonstration of such a model?
Well, that's like a big question, because that's pretty much saying, when have you achieved, kind of the like one of the pinnacle milestones. So, having a peer-reviewed model in general is kind of, the first step of kind of getting on the playing field. And since we have kind of completed some of these, that's kind of our next step, is to get them, kind of published in journals and having more collaborators on there. But as far as a model that is actually validated for predicting life extension or health span improvement, this is kind of a goal in the entire field of geroscience and longevity. Everybody's trying to, there's actually an entire consortium called the Biomarkers of Aging Consortium that's trying to figure out how we actually quantify and measure biological age in a clinical sense, and how, and even, well, the next stage of that is how do we actually measure, the fact that someone's life has been extended before waiting, until they pass 120. So this is something that we are actually, working on building, just like the rest of, the scientific community here, in trying to figure out what type of biomarkers are actually the best measurements of it. My favorite view is the gerophysics view. So this is pretty much, measuring how much resilience that you're losing over this trajectory of time. There's a lot of evidence that there's these kind of drop-offs at different points in time where you're kind of like losing function. They say it's like in 40s and 60s. Now, of course, that's not the case for every single person, because everyone's a little bit different, but it's a general trend. And so therefore, if you could demonstrate that maybe when people already have been known to fall off of these troughs and lost some resilience and they regained it again, this would be evidence of actual rejuvenation and perhaps life extension, or, we can probably extrapolate it to mean that they might last longer than, anyone ever before. But I mean, yeah, as far as how close, we really don't know, but we are actively in the space of, making models that are useful, at least for building personalized health optimization, as far as, something that's a little bit better than, maybe just checking your Oura Ring stats, or, another app is, having all of this data in one place, and taking your behavioral context, your preferences, how fast you want to move, because there's a lot of things that, everybody knows that doing these basic things like, strength training more, and weighing less, and, eating a little less can improve your health span. But it's like, how do you go about it? Everybody knows that, you shouldn't smoke or drink too much, but maybe, you like to smoke and you like to drink. So how do you balance that and still not, end up with a disease? Like, there's all these different factors. There's some foods that you should be eating, but maybe you don't like those foods, or, you might be allergic to those foods, or have a sensitivity, or, some kind of genetic thing that makes it not as effective for you as the person next to you. So yeah, these are all the questions. But as far as analyzing our user data, this formally begins once we roll out that platform I was mentioning earlier, and this is effectively when data NFTs, or at least the consent form, are go live, so that we can actually confirm that each individual entry is not duplicated, and that person has actually signed on to be part of contributing to the model officially.
Brilliant. That was quite a chunky question, so thanks for such a detailed answer. Love, if you can go on to the next slide, we have a follow-up question also from Andrew, which is kind of related. And he asks, what is the current size and quality of the real human data set? And how are you addressing the cold start issue for the research subsets while maintaining token economics?
The current size and quality of the data set. So that goes back to, the fact that at the moment, we're not considering it sort of finalized, just because we want to make sure that we're doing that quality control metric of, making sure that people have actually consented to be part of this observational study, and also that people aren't creating, 50 different instances of themselves in order to claim some tokens and whatnot. But as far as on the monthly active user side, we have about 600 monthly active users. Cold start issue. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe if someone could clarify that.
I think Andrew is actually in the room now, so maybe the best thing to do would be to go over to him to clarify. Andrew, can you unmute?
I'll find Andrew in the room. I think
Looks as if he is here, but maybe he can't unmute. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to speak for you on what you're thinking.
Yeah, or he writes there, or like also can maybe just type it. Do you mean as far as how do you like fund or like reward people, or?
I would say maybe if we give Andrew time to, all right, more like participating. Okay. I mean, should we give Andrew some time to kind of clarify that second half of the question, and maybe we go on to the next thing and come back to it?
Sure.
All right, I guess we could do that if you don't mind, Jasmine. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So the next question is, how does Rejuve AI benefit from being part of the SingularityNET ecosystem? Now that's an interesting question. Yeah.
Yeah, like our existence, right? Um, yeah, actually, now that we're coming to this point of, having successfully developed and deployed some models into the app and getting the app to a stage of being on the App Store and adding some more features to make it a lot more comprehensive as a tracking tool. I am beginning to kind of circle back with SingularityNET and Ben about linking our system to the OpenCog Hyperon. So that's kind of the primary and kind of original use case there. So that all of the intelligence that we're gaining from, everyone logging their data can become part of the larger artificial general intelligence that, SingularityNET is building for serving humanity and making sure that our future is bright when we kind of give rise to these super intelligent machines. And, of course, being a part of, a decentralized ecosystem for AI is just super rewarding in general. I mean, we're on talk about being on the right side of history as far as one of the first goals of an AGI being to solve aging. Pretty incredible because we want to make sure that the people that have been putting in the many years of effort and work into making these technologies possible can have a chance to be around to see it and partake as well. So that's a little bit of a extended answer there, but yeah, at the core level, it comes back down to connecting our AI services to the platform.
Ooh, that sounds nice and exciting. Thank you for that, Jasmine. Um, I guess I don't know. Is Andrew done with this clarification of the question, Vanny?
Not yet, no. Let's take the next question and then come back.
All right.
So our next one, we've had a few similar questions from Martin, Alfred, and Gorga. So I'm going to hand over to Gorga to actually present the questions. Gorga?
Oh, he said he can't unmute, Vanny, so I think you can just go ahead.
What, Gorga did? Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah, so the first.
Hello,
Oh, there
can you
he
hear me?
is. Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you. Nice one.
Oh, go
yeah,
on.
Hello.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, my question is, as individuals, how can we contribute to Rejuve.ai? What opportunities are available? And particularly, are there any programs such as like a beta tester or an ambassador program organized by Rejuve.ai? And when that program starting? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, actually, we do have an ambassador program that we launched actually last year and that we've been kind of rolling out in stages since then. So we have the kind of KOLs and influencers groups, so people that have significant following on X and Telegram or other channels, YouTube, can kind of join on board in that way. We have our kind of what was named the Wellness Collective by the community, which is a task board for kind of microtask, and we'll be doing a lot more with that coming up as we're kind of gearing up for our next phase. We have a clinicians advisory group that we also started so that we can have people that are in the community that are already in the clinical space be able to integrate the longevity app and into their practices, and also just help us, give us that feedback of what is most useful for clinicians in order to really, make the data gathering on the patient or individual side most effective. And also having their expertise contributing as well to just increase the quality and the value of our offering. Then yes, beta testers, we did collect some initial interest there, and I think we were filtering for kind of our initial 50 people that will admit, we'll start a little bit smaller so it can be manageable, and they'll be able to test all of our latest features in an internal dev build. Am I missing any other of the groups? The governance group, of course. Yes, this is the latest one and the one that we've actually been focusing on most recently the most. And this is kind of helping us design kind of the handbook and the ways that the kind of pretty much how we start a DAO aspect of Rejuve. And we're also, of course, announced our first voting event, and actually it's already kind of live now. The official proposals are out on Snapshot for EVM and Clarity for Cardano. And the voting will commence on the 30th of November. So prepare your wallets.
All right. That's interesting program. By the way, I have a question, another question about regarding the beta tester. Actually, I just received an invitation from my email to become a beta tester for Rejuve.ai. So I filled out the form about 2 weeks ago, maybe, but I haven't received any further information after filling the form. So yeah.
I think just because we hadn't sent out the communications yet for the next steps, just because we've been more focused on the vote. So that's the only reason why. So not a individual thing.
Okay, all right. I think that's all. That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
So on to the next question. Ooh. So this is interesting. Does the Rejuve Ambassador Program see itself as an independent community, and does it have any governance elements or its own treasury or archive processes, or does it mainly focus on content creation?
Well, yeah, the goal of it is to definitely be an independent community, and the idea is that it has 8 different prongs. And the purpose of this is that so people with their different talents and ways to contribute to the ecosystem can express them in different ways. So that's why it's kind of divided that way. It does kind of make it a little bit, trickier to manage it because of the fact that it's divided that way, but I feel it's a way to kind of reach out to all different sectors of what the Rejuve community itself consists of and looks like. Actually, when we had our initial beta in 2022, one of the survey questions that I put on there was, what is your background? And we had a really diverse background of people. We had, people that were actually professional beta testers and UX people. We had, doctors and practitioners. We had researchers. We had people that were in marketing and even law. So all different types of fields. So I thought, I want to have these programs for people to be able to contribute in the various ways. And I guess I can see how it may have leaned toward this content creation, because that's sort of what kind of fuels excitement in how we communicate, making posts and memes and all that kind of a thing. But the core purpose of it really is just to see where you yourself fit into this community, and can and it's also a way to earn rewards, for instance, in addition to the app, because eventually you kind of run out of stuff that you can log, right? So has to be other ways that you can obtain RJV. And then also maybe there's people who like what we're doing, but maybe they don't want to share their personal data, but they still want to be a part of things. So there's a way that they contribute in those ways. Some people just don't at all want to share any type of details about themselves, even, so that this is one of those ways. And then for the treasury and all that kind of a thing, this is the reason for the governance guild part of the program. So this is the idea that we actually can have this be its own operational entity and figure out how it kind of gets refunded after the initial allocation is distributed.
Nice. Well, this is coming from me. How does one, I don't know, is it still open for people to join the ambassador program and the rest of it? Can I still, I don't know, pick into it and be a part? Just curious.
Yes, it's always open. I mean, there is like kind of the allocations of tokens broken up into trenches of 3 years. So certain programs may be kind of full in certain timings, but the overall application, yes, is always open. And if you go to Rejuve.ai and you go to the Join Us tab, and then you can click Ambassador Program, and you can learn more, and you can actually see the allocations and the original town hall that we had that explains it, and also a blog post that goes into detail as well, and then the links and signing up.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I'll check that out because I really want to see. So if there's no other question, I think we'd have to move on to the next one. Is there anybody with a follow-up question in the room? And the link is in chat, guys, just for any other person interested aside me. If there's no question, I think we'd have to go to the next question from Vani.
Yeah, so from what you're saying, Jasmine, it really sounds like there's a bit of synchronicity between your ambassador program and this ambassador program, in that you're kind of doing more than just the obvious kind of content creation. So this question from Sucre and Spice is kind of more about how we can collaborate as two entities rather than just individuals getting involved. It's how can the SingularityNET Ambassador Program, that's us, support Rejuve AI's growth and mission right now? Are there any specific community initiatives that you'd like to see?
Well, that's like a really great question. I actually can ask the same because yeah, I would definitely like them to be interlinked and connected. I know that when we were kind of forming ours, we were talking to some of the leaders of the SingularityNET Ambassador Program for kind of tips and experience, and kind of the learnings that were attained. And we did set up the DWork profile and whatnot. And I think really just being able to empower more leaders. Like we have Cole Bartlett, who's been amazing. He's not here today just because it's Thanksgiving in the USA today, but he's like set up our governance portal and the group and handbook and everything. We've been working really closely together. So being able to empower more such community members to do that. And I mean, this is really passionate for me personally as well, because this is how I got started in this whole thing. I actually started out in one of the proto ambassador programs, back in 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, with Peter as well. And so we're like OGs kind of in that sense. And, to watch it have grown into this, powerful and massive thing that it is today, starting, from way back when. I'm definitely, really open to, how we can sort of collaborate and make this flourishing. And I guess the only reason why we did it a bit differently is just because of the niche of longevity being what it is. It's kind of, I just figured that tapping into these specific talents would be worthwhile beyond just, the normal Web3 stuff.
Nice.
What about that? Do you guys have any ideas about specific initiatives? Like, do you want to like create one live here today?
I mean, I wouldn't mind betting that there's quite a lot of ideas, but it's not something we've specifically talked about as a community, and I think we should. I can see loads of parallels just, off the top of my head now, but I don't know, maybe we should have some sort of a get together where you and some of, Cole and a few other people sit down with some of us and just try and think about where the crossovers are. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, totally agree. I'd like to be in that meeting. Yeah. So this is a follow-up question from Sugar and Spice, also known as Sugar and Spice. I like calling her Sugar and Spice, sorry. So she says, as you know, community is a powerful asset. How can users be engaged in the Rejuve AI community? And how can they evolve from just being data contributors to active citizen scientists?
That's a good question. So actually, the way that we're designing the app is to indeed like kind of encourage people into the right type of practices to have the best quality data. So this is something that we have in mind from the beginning of you know, how to actually, and not just even our app, but just the biohacking space in general. You know, because right now, anyone that's sort of experimenting with their health or doing things, a lot of times they're not really meaningfully tracking, you know, what they've been doing. Like, you know, even for myself, you know, I might start taking a new supplement, and you know, I didn't write down or log anywhere, you know, when I started taking it or any type of take any measurements beforehand to know, you know, what the baseline was beforehand, and kind of tracking during and after. So this is a feature that's another like kind of a capstone on the app called N of one trial, pretty much. And this is where, you know, you can establish a certain amount of metrics that you're going to measure in the beginning, and then what you're going to measure throughout, and then taking those same measurements again at the end. And we're also aiming to get a lot of input from the scientific community as well on what's the best way to set up these type of trials to get the most power out of, and the most signal out of these type of things. So yeah, I think it's a behavioral thing, and it's a cultural thing of you know, shifting the biohacking culture away from following fads and, you know, influencers, and you know, actually having evidence-based tracking and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's just, yeah, like the community effort, you know, definitely plays a role. I mean, some people would also like to have kind of a social engagement too. I know that this is kind of a popular thing, like maybe you want to compare stacks with other people, or maybe you know, have a leaderboard of some kind. Others are more, you know, private and are just kind of doing their own thing. So it's it's varied in that sense. But yeah, so that's what I think of that.
All right. Thank you, Jasmine. As usual, is there any follow-up question? Vani, go for it.
Yeah, I sort of have one. I'm just thinking, supposing somebody is tracking their data, is there any way that if they decide to, say, for instance, start taking a new supplement and logging in true citizen science style and evidence-based, you know, what the effects are for them, do you track where they heard about that? Because I just think, you know, sometimes in the medical field, there is an issue, there are questions for me about kind of how things are advertised, how things are promoted, how people hear about things. And I think it would be interesting and useful data to kind of have that tracked as well, kind of like, oh, I got it from an influencer, or I read it in a magazine, or what it is. Do you know what I mean? And do people track that?
That's very interesting. I've actually never really thought about putting that as a metric, but this is, you know, kind of the beauty of having this kind of community iteration and decentralized science, pretty much. Because one thing I did think about adding to supplements feature today was how do you think it's going to work, or like how well, what do you expect it to do? Because I feel like, you know, that's a measurement of placebo effects, or like how our mentality and expectations of something may actually affect the outcomes. But this is something as well that'd be a good piece of data is, you know, why did they even decide to take this in the first place? Like, was it actually recommended by a clinician, or yeah, did you see like an influencer do it, or did you read, you know, or see some media about it? So yeah, thanks for that.
It's like follow the money, isn't it? Because, say, like, for instance, my mum used to work as a doctor's receptionist, and here in the UK, the NHS, it's supposed to be kind of independent, but you do quite often get drug company reps pushing certain things quite hard. And I don't know if that's still an issue. This was years ago, but I do think there is something there about all the money that goes into promoting a particular drug or pharmaceutical or whatever. And it's interesting to track whether that has an effect on how many people are taking it up and using it, and what it's been promoted as, you know. But anyway,
Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess if there's no other questions, but on to the next one, are we? So yeah, this is another follow the money question from another anonymous ambassador. So regarding the RJV token, can you give us a scenario of how a user's participation could lead to value for them in terms of personal health, and especially in potential token appreciation?
Scenario of how users participation could lead to value for them. Yeah, so we have initial kind of reward set on the data right now, just as kind of basic incentive to use the app and gain some traction. Then what the model is evolving to is what type of data is most valuable to the algorithms that we're building, or based on what we've interpreted. So then we can begin to sort of play with the measurements, like, hey, we really need this biomarker, so then we have a higher premium on that type of thing. And then as far as the token economic aspect of it, of course, we can't say, oh, the token price is, going up by this much or anything like that. And, financial advice, not that. But the current governance proposal that's going live now has to do with the tokenomics. It has to do with the way that the RJV token is actually valued inside of the app ecosystem, and then also how it circulates through this kind of longevity economy as well. One example is, okay, so right now we have an allocation of tokens that we are distributing for people to build up our international longevity research database, like for the initial users. But then, okay, once it's gone, how does that get replenished? Well, for instance, an external entity can sponsor a study, based on our users. Maybe they want a certain amount of users that are taking rapamycin or something like that. And if people happen to be doing that, then they can sign up for that separate study, but log as metadata on their data NFT the fact that they have actually participated in study 005. And then what happens is we can do an abstraction to where they buying RJV to reward the participants pretty much. And yeah, the secondary, so the sci-fi protocol is the primary vote, and this is a mechanism to kind of give the token a little bit of resistance in terms of the market swings, because we know that crypto is a very volatile scenario to where there can be radical swings. Tomorrow it's up, to next day it's down. And so the proposal is this mechanism called the stablecoin index, SCI. And it pretty much is an algorithm that's based on the overall crypto sentiment, the fear and greed index, and then how the sentiment on altcoins specifically, because that's a little bit different. It kind of uncouples from Bitcoin at certain times. And the why am I forgetting? Yeah, I think that's the three. And essentially, yeah, there's an algorithm described there that would kind of make an incentive for people to lock up and stake tokens in bonded staking pools for a limited amount of time to kind of maintain a certain floor. And then, of course, it's naturally going to be worth more in the app, if it's over the reference. And then the secondary one has to do with the topic of buybacks, plain versus buybacks and burns. This has been a little bit of a debate that we've been having across the community. I think even on the ASI side as well, like how beneficial are token burns actually to the economics? Is it just a gimmick, or is it something that actually has some real economic value to it? So this is one of the things that's up there.
Thank you, Jasmine. So is there any follow-up question to this? And are you satisfied with Jasmine's answer? Okay, I can't see any hand up. So I guess that's it. Moving on to shall I say our last but not the least question, because somebody might pop up with something else. So what are two wait, I need to check if this is an anonymized question. Okay, yes, anonymous. What are 2 to 3 tangible milestones in the roadmap that the community should be most excited about? Ding ding ding.
Okay. So the first one is the kind of premium version of the longevity app. So that's when we have more advanced features there, and actually begin to monetize it and make it revenue generating. So that's the first milestone, and that has to do with rounding out some features like supplement and medication logging, and the different biological age models for the blood tests versus just the surveys, and some other things that we're adding in there as well. We're also redesigning the home screen and the daily task flow so that it will be a little bit more easier and intuitive to fill out and do these things, and not so duplicative of data that's already logged in with a wearable. The second one is the actual formal launch of our ILRDB in its full form, and that will actually happen at our event that we're co-hosting in Roatan, Honduras in February, called Infinita Games, or the main event's called Infinita Games. Our particular game in Infinita Games is the Longevity Biomarkers Challenge, and this is where up to 100 longevity athletes will measure themselves in the beginning of the event, and then they will partake in the various festivities and games at Infinita. This is a special economic zone that started out as a pop-up city a few years ago and is now a permanent establishment, and it's all focused on biotech and all kind of technology acceleration. And then there'll be various things that people can do in there, from poker games to like electric knife fights to more physical kind of challenges in game sports, all this type of things. And then they'll measure themselves at a second time point. And of course, all the other people that are staying on the island throughout the pop-up as well can also join in and get some tests from the providers and onboard to our platform. And we'll be, and it's also a launch out to the wider community as well. So that's the, the second one. And then for the third one is just the kind of further expansion, I would say, publishing the first results of the initial data that we've put in the database. So being able to analyze any type of trends, patterns, interesting findings, or even just the fact that we actually are the first ones to do something like this. So yeah, the publication, which will probably be in collaboration with Biomarkers of Aging Consortium and other parties as well, would be the third one.
Ooh, the next few months, or should I say days or weeks, are going to be exciting. Thanks so much, Jasmine. So is there any other follow-up question from everybody for Jasmine? And I think we said we're going to go back to Andrew's question. I don't know if he has typed something. Vanny, has he said anything?
No, there's been nothing in the chat. I think we might have to leave that hanging, unfortunately.
All right. So, Peter has a hand up. Go on, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. It's not so much a direct follow-up question to this. It's regarding a milestone that was made 2 days ago, like the release of this Rejuve HQ. To me, that kind of connects pretty well, because I don't really do any blood work kind of stuff. I have to admit, I don't even have a wearable device capturing data. So yeah, I was wondering, could you perhaps tell a bit more on that?
About the event?
No, about the Rejuve HQ, this questionnaire functionality.
Oh, the model, yes. Yes, so the Rejuve HQ is basically a survey-based model. We've narrowed down about 106 variables that we can predict. It predicts chronological age within about 5 years, which is kind of the extrapolation to biological age, because it's telling you how much that your current set is resembling somebody of this certain age range. So that's kind of like the initial layer there to be able to give people a little bit of a readout and give a little bit of insights into, what are some of the key things that you might want to focus on to reduce that biological age if you actually can influence them. So it's kind of a starting point of, maybe what to start researching and looking into, and areas of health to focus on, and what type of testing would be most effective to improve that result even more. And to get some more concrete data, because ultimately all of these things are about leading people to learn more and dig deeper, and of course improve healthy habits, not to really, take it as some kind of alarm or, gospel or something like that, but more so to, just keep on finding out more, and to actually find ways to obtain these biomarkers from various different regional hubs. That's really the idea, is that we're trying to build, whatever region of the world that you're in, then you have this suite of a catalog of products and services that you can choose from, including where's the nearest longevity clinic, you know.
Thank you. Nice.
Thank you. And yes, the Rejuve HQ and the other model, the Lineage 2, which is actually developed by another research team, but we've like translated it into Python and made it into a service. Those are both on our GitHub page live already, and we had announced those a couple of days ago.
Nice. Thank you, Jasmine. Vani?
Yeah, just what you just said then, Jasmine. I didn't know that you were kind of working in different regional hubs in that way. Are you actually segmenting data according to where people are based? Because I do think, you know, a lot of things about health are kind of cultural and might be influenced by your lifestyle and your culture. So is there anything, you know, being done on that to kind of segment data in that way?
There is one of the questions that ask what country are you ordinarily based in? Because yeah, I think this does you know, kind of have an impact on you know, kind of the accessibility of things, and then yeah, like you mentioned, the culture, and you know, because a lot of times, you know, people kind of focus on ethnicity, and you know, that's one of the data points as well, but also just where you're actually living and what type of, you know, are you living in a rural environment or like more of a city, you know, so all of those things are factors that we have in the app as biomarkers as well. Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to take one last question before we have to wrap this up, if there's any actually. Is there a one man or one last man standing? Is that how you say it? Well, I can't see any other hand. Okay, nobody. All right. I guess we shall call this a wrap. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining us. We were really curious. We wanted to know what was happening in Rejuve, so we decided to invite you. Thank you. It's been great and lovely. And you really answered our questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been really awesome and really great questions. So it's always nice when there's some really substantial ones. So
Yeah. All right. Do have a nice day and see you soon, because we'll definitely see soon.
yeah, for sure. Let's have that follow-up meeting yet.
Yeah. All right. Bye bye. So
Bye.
everyone, thank you for being here, and this will be the end of the AMA session. Have a nice day, y'all, and see you all later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, well done on the hosting, love.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hosting, love. And thanks, Jasmine, for being here. That was a cracking session.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you for the meeting. Thank you for the EMA session.
Yep.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.